This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Monumental Minerals, Dr. Jamil Sater. Jamil, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well today. How are you doing, Gerardo?
I am well. It's been a relatively busy summer. A lot going on the macro side, a lot going on as it relates to companies specifically in the critical metal space right now. And so I thought it an opportune time to have you back on. It's been a bit since we chatted publicly, and I thought we'd have you back on and just get an update on your flagship project first off. And I wanted to talk rare earths for a bit, and then maybe we could talk Chile, because I've had some reader questions about some of the macro commentary surrounding Chile, and the what's been, I think, inaccurately worded as the nationalization of the lithium space. And we'll get into that because I want to get your take on it. But let's start with Jemi, right? Let's talk about that project first. How are things coming along on that front?
Things are coming along excellent, Gerardo. Thanks for asking. We put out a PR today, earlier today, that we are ready to drill. We've got permits, we've got land access agreements, we've got drilling contracts in place, and drilling will start in the next couple of weeks. They're going to be mobilizing. The drilling company will be mobilizing shortly. We're just in the process of now making some access roads and building the drilling pads. And we've got 6 high-value targets chosen for a total of 1,800 meters, so about 300 meters a hole. And we're just looking to really, this is the Maiden drill program for us, and we're just looking to define where these mineralized dikes and veins that we see at the surface, where they're coming from.
Tell me about the infrastructure to the project. Obviously, we're all hoping for a successful drilling program. I know that the surface work that has been done up until now to make sure that you're drilling out your best targets has been done the way it's supposed to have been done. What are you hoping for out of this program?
Well, what we really hope to get out of this is that we start to see we have models of this project, and we believe that the model is similar to what we see at Norra Kärr in Sweden, also a heavy rare earth dominant project, Tanbreez in Greenland, and others globally. So what we really hope to get out of this is we hope to really define a system that we believe is similar to that. And and we believe that this is a great area to be working in just because of its proximity to the Lone Star State, to Texas. Texas is this fast-growing hub for the rare earth industry. You have Blue Line Corp in Hondo or San Antonio, deals between MP Materials and GM in Fort Worth, the Tesla factory in Austin. So all these things kind of contribute to, and also a very politically friendly source of rare earths. So all these things kind of very much contribute to what could be a very, very great deposit.
You mentioned Norra Kärr. That's a project I'm very familiar with. Back in the days when it was under the company portfolio of Tasman Metals, I did very, very well with that project. That's a project that ran into some permitting issues that I think is a world-class heavy rare earth asset. And so when we talk about heavy rare earths and we talk about the difference between the lights and the heavies, it really is 2 different markets. Can you talk about the main macro drivers for rare earths? And specifically, I want to get into the heavies, which is, of course, what you're exploring at your project.
Of course, yes. And, I will say as well that Norra Kärr is a wonderful project. I would love to see that move forward. And, I really hope that they are able to make a go of it. But for our project, the heavies are 100% controlled by China. Everything from shovel, so everything from mining it out of the ground, all the way through to manufacturing of consumer products. These consumer products are mainly permanent magnets. The terbium and dysprosium are added to these magnets to increase operating temperatures, reduce the loss of magnetism, and and if you really combine if you look at the heavy rare earths, so terbium, dysprosium, neodymium, and praseodymium, those four make up 94% of the value of the rare earth market. So if you don't have those, then it's very hard to get a project across the line. And what makes Jemi really good is that, and kind of sets it apart from some of the other really good projects in North America. So perhaps Defense Metals Project in British Columbia or MP Materials in California, is that there are normally and mainly lights. Ours includes lights and heavies.
So when we talk about the heavies, what are the main applications? And I think this part is really underappreciated, and this part is important for people, I think, to really wrap their head around, because there's, I have this theme this year, and I've been preaching it to subscribers, that it's great to invest in things that people want, right? Or speculate on things that people want, metals and minerals that people want. It's much different and much easier, more profitable, by the way, to invest in minerals and metals that people absolutely need. And with the heavies are much more of a need than a want when it comes to rare earths. Is that correct?
Absolutely. They are a necessity in motors that go into EVs. They're a necessity in motors that go into, could be water pumps, it could be air conditioners, it could be wind turbines. They are an absolute necessity. And, like I said, that they do increase, adding these terbium dysprosium to magnets increases the operating temperature of these motors. So as an example, Tesla will put, in their all-wheel drive systems, they'll put light rare earth magnets into the front motor, but in the rear motor, they'll put heavy rare earth magnets so that they can operate properly at higher temperatures. So they are in need. They're not a want, and that's why they're on the U.S. critical metals list.
You have the Jemi project. You also have a lithium project in Chile. I can't let you go, Jamil, without asking you about some of the comments from the Chilean president. He proposed a national lithium strategy and a national lithium mining company in April of this year. And of course, this is a model that's been done with other sectors. So we have kind of a blueprint on how this is typically rolled out. For whatever reason, the wording and the messaging from the administration wasn't not only not the friendliest, it wasn't the clearest as to how they were planning on implementing the rollout and what companies would be most affected. So can you shed a little light and just provide us an overview of your take, being that you're active in the region and then, you have boots on the ground there?
Of course. And, I 100% agree. It's been really unfortunate how poorly the government has explained this, and really, if they had a PR firm that has been helping them out with this, they should be fired. So nothing has really changed. And like all metals in Chile, as well as Canada, Australia, Mexico, among others, they're all owned by the state. And so, if you want to mine them, you actually have to pay something to the state to extract them. So for lithium is slightly different in Chile because since 1979, it was considered non-concessionable. And it was because it got lumped in with uranium and thorium at the height of the Cold War. You needed a little bit of lithium into nuclear warheads. So what Boric and what the government is really interested in is they're interested in figuring out a way within the current structure of how they can also participate and also generate funding or money towards the public treasury. And to give you an example, and what is the center around all this, their centerpiece is Salar de Atacama, where SQM and Albemarle operate. And they actually operate with leases So they're actually leasing land or leasing concessions from a government group called Corfo. SQM's lease is up at the end of 2030, and Albemarle's is up at the end of 2043. The government has said that they're not going to break those leases, but after those leases are done, just like any other business or any other leasing situation, the government has the right to change the leasing terms, and that's what they're doing. And so for those assets, they're saying that they want to take a majority stake, which they have every right to because they own the land. But for the junior explorer,
there you go. Sorry. That's exactly. No, you took the question. You're answering the question. I was going to say that's all fine and dandy for the producing majors, but that the way I understand it, anyhow, should not be affecting the juniors to the extent that it has in the market. Would you agree with that?
And that's absolutely correct. So the government really isn't interested in the juniors. And the projects that the juniors have are not considered strategic. So the government has said that they may want to buy into a project, or they might issue a special permit in exchange for a royalty in order to get a project moving. But they do rely on our expertise because they don't have this expertise and they don't have the personnel or the resources to carry this all out. So when it comes to the national lithium strategy, there is no expropriation, there is no taking projects away, and there is no forced sale. And even if they wanted to do that, there are Chilean laws and international laws that prevent that. They want to work with companies so that they can get a piece of the pie. Now, in a perfect world, I would like to see something a lot more simple. I would like to see a model where it's just simply a royalty structure. You produce X amount of lithium and you pay an X amount of royalties. The same thing that they do for copper. But that's not the way that the government has decided to do this and to work with this. And so we just have to work with what the government has provided and the framework the government has provided. But that being said, the way that the government has structured this is that there is lots of money for everyone to make here. They're not taking projects away, and there's many, many good projects, including our own, of course, that are excellent. And there is a lot of opportunity.
Let's talk about what comes next here for Monumental. We've seen, a pullback in the share price. You were able to secure financing with a strategic group of investors that clearly see the upside, and not just the sectors that you're involved in, but the projects and the management team that's advancing them. What comes next, and where do you see Monumental Minerals share price here in the next 6 months?
Well, we've been beat up a fair amount by the recent news out of Chile. We are coming out of it, and what's really going to drive things is the drilling project that we have at Jemi in Mexico, as well as drilling at Laguna Blanca that we're working towards, just getting the permits in place, the permissions in place, and just ticking all the boxes. So that's really going to move things. And, right now we're starting to see a lot of buying of the stock. And that kind of demonstrates to us that investors are starting to become a little bit more comfortable with Chile. They realize that no one's taking our projects away, and that we have very high merit and high value assets. And what I would say as well is that because of these raises, we have a very strong balance sheet. We don't actually have to go to the market again to raise money until mid to late 2024. And that really presents a buying opportunity. We have the cash, we have the projects, and we have the know-how and the knowledge to carry these out.
Jamil, that was a thorough update. I appreciate the time. As always, appreciate your insights. I'm looking forward to having you back on. I think the second half of the year is going to be an exciting one in the commodity space, and I suspect you and I will be chatting on a more frequent basis.
Well, thank you very much, Gerardo. Really appreciate it as always.
All right, chat again soon.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.